Hello and welcome to the item guide. In this video we're going to look at Voltar's utilities. So we'll start out with his movement and his jump. So Voltar has pretty good acceleration to him. He's gotten a bit of an increase since 2.7. Kind of moves around pretty quickly, helps him stay out of range of other enemies. And he's got a pretty high jump, but it takes him a little while to make that full jump. So it's a little tricky to dodge shots this way, especially from hit scan shots such as rail and snipe. So it can be a little tricky. But you can kind of throw off someone's aim by using this hover, one of Voltar's unique abilities. So where he has quite a predictable movement if he doesn't use his hover, especially where he is slow to jump and fall. You can use that hover to kind of break someone's concentration and just kind of throw them off, if you will. So using that hover in mind, it takes about 5 or 6 seconds for that hover to last. But what I really like about it is that you can just reapply it again if you need to. So instead of just lasting for 1 second like Genji's does, you can just reapply it over and over again as many times as you like. So with that said, you can do that, like that. So if you're trying to avoid mines or stay out of the way from certain attacks, you can just do that, just see what's underneath you, and just get out of harm's way. Say there are mines right here. So that's said and done. It kind of works very well with canceling knockback that way. Genji and Yuri are capable of doing this. You really have to be quick on the fingers to do that. Voltar, to me, feels easier to do anyway, so you can just kind of do that. Say if this was a neutral one, I'll just quickly show you on this map anyway. So you have people chasing you and you're trying to get away from them. Instead of just traveling this whole way, what you can do instead is just do that, where you can cancel that knockback from the jump pads. So you have that to work with. Okay, going on to his health. Voltar starts off with 1200 health. I think it's one of the lowest, if not the lowest amount of health for an Awesomenaut. So 1200 equals to about 6 bars of health. So each line here represents 200 health. But you'll notice that it's not 6, it's actually a little bit more. That's because each Awesomenaut naturally grows 3% every 90 seconds. Up to a cap of 30% over 15 minutes. So with that set in mind, so 30% of 1200 is 360, so about almost 4 bars, about a bar and a half, roughly so, which will add up to 1560. While it's not a whole lot, Clunk would be able to naturally grow more health where it works on a percentage. Voltar can use all the health that he can get, especially where this is a little bit lower than it was from 2.6, I believe it was. While not a whole lot, as a medic you have to be very careful to stay out of harm's way, where you are quite useful in keeping your allies alive and making it more difficult for your enemies to kill them. You are usually the one that's on the high priority, especially for Leons and anybody who can do quite a bit of burst damage. So you have to figure out Voltar's movements and just kind of throw people off to keep yourself stay alive longer and help your allies do the job. So everybody naturally regenerates 600 health. So if you do take damage, Voltar will, along with everybody else, will get 10 health back per second, 200 health back every 20 seconds. So 3 bars a minute if you take damage, if you can't find any health, if you are unable to regenerate any health from any way. Everybody naturally regenerates 600 health per minute. So there is that to work with, and I'll also show you really quickly right here. Like so. So in about a minute's time, I should have about 3 bars of health back. Yeah, so about over the course of a minute, you'll regenerate about 3 bars of health, as it should be. So if you are suffering from a big amount of damage over time, don't expect that big chunk to kill you, because you're likely to regenerate some health back. So it does help against that if someone is using big chunks of damage over time, or poison or anything like that. Small amounts might be able to get you, but if you're unable to find any health backs or get any health back from other ways, that can help save your life at the very least, and every Awesomenaut can get that as well, just to make Na's job a bit more difficult than it used to be. So like every Awesomenaut, everybody starts out with 235 solar once they leave the drop pod, and beyond that point it's up to them to collect solar either by collecting it on their descent to the battlefield, collecting it in the environment, getting kills, or helping an ally get kills. Assists can get you solar as well. And everybody gets paid 30 solar per minute or 2 solar per second. So even if you're unable to get kills, if it's just been kind of a stalemate, people will make money, especially if you're just running around. As long as you're breathing, you'll be making that solar per minute. So as you can see, every 2 seconds, I'll get 1 piece of solar. So there's not a lot of action going on. You're still kind of progressing quite slowly, but it is something anyway. And with movement being tactical, you can make yourself less predictable against enemies. So stay out of the way of shots, especially slow moving ones, and just try to work with that and make yourself hard to hit. Stay out of the way of mines, or try to break someone's trajectory of you, that kind of thing. And his height is 2.4, which I believe is one of the tallest in the game, because with that dome of his as well, it's a little tricky to dodge shots, especially try to hide for cover, because your head's kind of poking out in a lot of spots. So you kind of have to duck for cover behind people. However, that can be tricky, especially if it's a piercing shot, because that won't do a whole lot of good. But if it's someone who does not have a piercing attack, but being able to heal the person in front of you can certainly be of use, which is what is unique to Voltar. Okay, starting out with the first item in the list, the Power Pills Turbo. It can be bought 3 times, 130 solar each time. This will add 12% to your starting max health. So it doesn't apply to the rule of thumb with the extra 30% every 90 seconds. That does not apply to that. So if you were to wait 15 minutes and then buy it, it wouldn't add 12% to what your current max health is. Only 12% of 1200, as it seems. So going by mathematics, 12% of 1200 is 144, as it seems to be. So 144 should be the first time, like so. So about a bar of health the first time. Do it again, should be about 288 health. About a bar and a half seems to be it right there. Or do it again. That will make it 432. So about 200 bars of health you can get from the Power Pills Turbo, and not counting the natural max health that you can get. So with the pills in mind, that would make it 1344, 1488, or 1632. Now with the natural max health in mind, that would make it either 1704 after one upgrade, 1848 after the second one, or 1992 from the third one. So this is the maximum amount of health you can get just from Voltar himself, from naturally growing more health, or from buying more health from this belt here. So you can get quite a bit. You can survive some burst attacks, but not too many. However, Voltar is able to sustain by healing his allies or being able to get some health back in one way or another. Okay, starting off with Solar Crab Burgers. There's a bug in 2.8, not really a big deal. These two items will keep trading spots, it appears to be. So I'm just going to start off with this item here. Solar Crab Burgers. 100 solar. Each coin you touch that you collect, you will regain 50 health. So this does work quite well for Voltar, as I will demonstrate. Take some damage first just to make my point anyway. Like so. So every coin that you collect, for Voltar anyway, any amount of healing that he can do from his heal wave, he'll make money back. As you can kind of see here. So it does work very well where the heal bot does not heal Voltar anymore as of 2.8. This works very well as a decent replacement, but do bear in mind if you want to heal yourself faster, notice how little I am healing the droids. That's in the old stats, that's 0.5, whereas this does that there. So the more coins you collect, the more health you take back. So this does work quite well for soaking some damage rather than your allies doing it. It can work very well in that regard. But just to make the point across, you can kind of take damage from the turrets and heal your droids, then take damage from turrets, heal your droids, because you get your health back in that way. Like right now, I'll just push my lanes a little bit, do some healing, kind of like that. Any coin I touch, doesn't seem to matter the value of the coin, just the coin itself. But where Voltar can get a piece of solar for how little or how much he heals, it's something you have to take in consideration. Do you want to heal more often for less health, or do you want to heal less often but be able to heal more at one time? It's really up to you, depending on what you build into for the heal wave. But I will make an updated version of Voltar's healing wave as soon as I can. But kind of gives you the point, like if the heal bot is tricky to adapt to, try using this, because as long as you are in the action, the more people and more coins that you collect back, that's how much more health you can get back at one time. Kind of like so. So I think you get the idea of that. One of my personal recommendations from this belt. As you can see now, the Medican is in place of slow crabbers. No big deal, but just to avoid confusion anyway. So with Voltar naturally regenerating 600 health per minute, if you don't feel that's enough, if you want to regenerate health whether or not you're with an ally, this will help with doing that. So this will add 700 to your 600, making it 1300 or 2000 health per minute. So 1300 being about 6.5 bars of health back per minute, or 10 bars of health back per minute, and I will demonstrate that as well. So as you were able to see the first time, you get 3 bars of health back per minute, and also for the sake of it, I'll just buy these items just so that I'll be able to regenerate some health a little bit better. So like that, I have 1 upgrade, I will count it down from there. Okay, about a minute's passed now. Now the second upgrade where I'll be able to get 2000 health back per minute. Where Voltar starts up with 1200, I should be able to theoretically get all my health back before the minute's out. So just see if I can try to take as much damage as I can without dying. And like so. A little bit more. Okay, and we'll count down a minute from now. We should be able to get all our health back before the minute's out. Okay, so that's how long it took for us to get our health back. And from the first upgrade, 1300, over the course of 60 seconds, you'll get 21 health back per minute. Or 33 health back per second. So it can be quite a bit. If you prefer this over slow crab burgers, if you want to be constantly regenerating health, slow crab burgers can be good if you're with a group of people and you can get healed from multiple people. About 150 or so like that. It can heal more, but this is just reliable. It will always heal you, even if you're taking damage, that kind of thing. Not too much damage, but it just helps if you want to let your allies take the health packs, or anything like that. It's totally personal preference, but it does help regenerate quite a bit of health back, especially over the course of a minute. Okay, Space Air Max, 135 solar. This will add 1 to Voltar's movement. So however much that is, first we will test how long it takes for us to travel from here to over there on the other side of the map. So starting off like that, takes a moment to get some acceleration, but Voltar has some decent speed to him just by default. However, if you don't feel that's enough, if you're trying to escape from some speedy assassins, that's something you can certainly do. Now we will add this to it. Do that. Here we go. Kind of like that. So it's not a bad boost to it either. It helps you escape from deadly attacks or anything like that. Doesn't take that long. It does help with Voltar speed that way. And especially for jumps as well. It helps him jump a little bit more, it seems. And he can hover around a little bit faster. He hovers just as fast as he can travel. So it does help with extra mobility, trying to dodge attacks, or just trying to escape from people as well. Or chase people down. Whatever your playstyle prefers you to do. Okay, new to 2.8 is the Barrier Magazine. It can be bought twice, 110 solar each time. This word is any damage you take by either 5 or 10% in total. So this can work very, very well for newer Voltars who are not doing that good of a job with avoiding attacks, or if you just take a massive amounts of damage from your enemies. It doesn't have to be a lot of damage at once, just over the course of time. If you want to reduce that damage and have your allies help you stay alive and just try to last longer and try to keep your allies going, this is a great thing for newer Voltars, or just if you're falling victim to burst attacks or anything like that. So to demonstrate, I will test it out on a turret who can deal not a lot of damage, but deals a lot of it over a short amount of time. And then I'll test it on the solar boss in the corners to show fewer attacks, but does more damage that way. So as you can see, by default, dealing lots of damage that way, dealing about 40 damage each time. Then I'll show it on the solar boss. Each projectile will do 100 damage, so it doesn't do as much, but it does do more damage at each time, if you kind of get what I mean. So do it the first time, we will be able to block 5% of damage of 40. So it's not going to be a whole lot. Very, very little. Not really enough to make a difference. But against a more powerful attack, it's going to reflect a little bit better. Not by much, but this goes by percentage. So if you're taking a lot of damage, either from a turret, it does block a little bit more. However, it can block quite a bit as well. So the more powerful the attack is, the higher percentage. The percentage is the same, but the more damage you'll be able to block that way. So 5% is not a lot, but 10% is a little bit better in that regard anyway. So we'll try to do that. So at all times, I am blocking 10%, which is 4. So not a whole lot against the turret, but it's something anyway. So bear in mind if you have Leons chasing after you, or snipes, or anybody doing a lot of damage to you, especially Clunk, being able to block 10% of an explosion can be life or death. So do take that in mind. Don't just throw it away just like that. You might be able to make use of this. Depends on if you're a high profile target from the other team. Might be able to help you stay alive a little bit better that way. So 10% from Solar Boss's projectiles, I'll be able to block 10 damage off that 100. So I'll be taking 90 damage in total. So I'll be able to block a little bit more. It can be quite useful. So if there's enemies who keeps on getting hit on you, or you're just not doing very well with dodging attacks, you're able to sustain a little bit. Either combine it with healing items, or help your allies stay alive a little better anyway. Okay, last item on the list. It's a little tricky to explain this, but I'll try to do the best I can. The Baby Curie Mammoth can be bought twice, 110 solar each time. This reduces the effect of the majority of debuffs in game. The first time will do only... It will reduce 25% of the effect. Slow, stun, snare, silence, blind. Amplify damage, so Penny, who can do amplify damage or not, anyone like that. Blind, Vinny's Cloud, the effect will last a shorter while. Or from Voltar's blinding shots, like these, it will reduce 25% of that the first time. Silence, snares, anything like that. Each time it's applied, it will reduce that 25 or 50% of that time. Anything against, I think it's Time Rift or Yuri's Time Warp. I don't think it works on that because it's a different thing. It's slowdown, and it doesn't appear to be applied to that either. I don't have a lot of experience with it. However, I tend to go for this, and usually this. However, I haven't ruled this out yet. But Baby Curie Mammoth can work very well if it's not damage. That's the biggest problem if it's a debuff, either from Clunk using Snare and Slow Explosion, or Scoop just being a pain in the butt. Somebody using Silence, it will reduce that time, especially for Voltar, where it'd be quite needed for him. So if you find that someone's using debuffs to help get kills, you can use this to reduce it by either 25 or 50%, so reduce that effect by up to half if you so desire. So it can have its uses. It just depends on if you want to use that spot rather than something else. So hopefully that was of use to you. If this belt changes in any way, I will try to update it in any way I can, as soon as I can. So that was Voltar's utilities and movement and such. Thanks very much for watching.